All right, how's it going? I'm gonna try to do this really quick. I was watching a little something before I went to bed. I was watching the Everyday Dad here, where he's doing his A6400 versus M6. I'm kind of in the boat where I have the Canon 80D, and I was kind of thinking about upgrading, but with like Canon doing this, like taking away like 24 frames per second, and you like it kind of almost forces you to go to Sony. But I kept seeing a comment like is saying that Canon's including 24 frames per second. And at firmware, I thought maybe it's just somebody was trolling at first. Then there's like another one. Then there was a couple more. I'm like, oh, so I actually kind of Googled it. And right here, you look at DP review, and it says on DP review, it came out today. It's like 13 hours ago. It's like 10:20 p.m. right now, Eastern. It says Canon plans to add 24 frames per second recording to select EOS PowerShot cameras via firmware update. The people have spoken and Canon has listened. In an email sent to DP Review, Canon says it plans to introduce 24p mode, 23.98 frames per second for movie recording via a series of future firmware updates for select EOS and PowerShot models. Yes, the fact they took it out in the first place. But I think also there's probably been I would imagine there's been like a pretty big backlash too. Because like I said, I have the 80D. And I was kind of looking at maybe the EOS R, but if I get into that and then full frame lenses and the cost of them, I don't know for me personally if that would, it's out of my budget. But I think with fast primes, I can get away with a lot of stuff. Like the Sigma 18 to 35, or even the Sigma Primes, the 16 to 30 and the 56 1.4 are supposed to come out for the EFM mount. But get back to this. It says, according to the email, the move comes in response to feedback from our customers about some of our recently launched EOS and PowerShot models. Canon specifically says the first models to receive the firmware update with support for 24p shooting models will be the EOS 90D and the EOS RP at the end of October. That might make the RP very, because it had 24 in the 4K, but there's no autofocus. But a lot of people would use it as a full frame, cheap-esque, kind of like vlogging camera. So that might be interesting. The PowerShot G7X Mark III and the G5X Mark II will follow at the end of 2019, and the EOS M6 Mark II during the first half of 2020, reads the email. Once the firmware is released for the cameras, each support model will be able to shoot 24p, 23.98 frames per second in 4K and Full HD. Also, there's another thing called the digitalpicture.com. And they pretty much state the same thing. And that's like the two main places I saw it. And there's a couple boards and stuff have it. So I think that because it happened first with the RP, that they took out 24 frames per second. I think that made a lot of people jump ship. I know a lot of people, there's some people who don't care between the 24 to 30 frames per second. And some people like it, some people don't. I shoot 24. I just like the way it looks, especially like people shoot like 60 frames per second and put it on YouTube, and like watching that personally like makes me kind of like nauseous. I can like instantly tell. It just, unless it's something fast paced. But I like 24 frames per second. So I don't hold your breath. Wait for it to actually happen. Wait for YouTube videos where people have it and they have it on there and it's confirmed. That's what I want to do. When it happens, I'll probably upgrade to, when I get the money and the budget, I'll probably upgrade to the 90D from the 80D. I mean, I'll probably still keep the 80D. And like, I'm trying to add more, I guess, for like more shots and, multiple cameras. Having more is always better. But I think that, and hopefully by that time I'll probably have the 18 to 35 Sigma, which I'm going to purchase for the 80D. And I think, because I want to have a pair of cameras, so I think the 90D and the M6 Mark II, which I think there's certain things that are better on that one than there are on the 90D, and there's certain things, but you almost like, to get the best, you kind of have to like have both if you want to have like two cameras. But I think I'll wait for the firmware, and when it's confirmed, I'll get the 90D. Like I said, the APS-C lenses, for me, I think if I get the correct ones, like some of the Sigmas, it'll get the job done for me, and like the price is like way cheaper than the full frames. And I'd like to get the M6 Mark II as well to pair with it, but I'm not going to get that until the Sigma primes are released. And they may possibly be, I think I heard they may be, they're supposed to come out for the EFM mount, but I'm not sure exactly. Someone was saying possibly at the end of this month, at the end of October. It could be, but I think this will change things a lot for people, especially since they were the ones with like the T2i and like the 5D Mark II that came in with the 24 frames per second. I have, and I still use my Canon T2i for stuff. So I just wanted to like kind of get this out there. It's like I heard about it, got a little excited. If this is true, which it seems to be. I mean, they said they got an email. I'm sure people have been complaining nonstop. The fact that I think the fact that Canon would listen to people and put it in is interesting, because they don't really seem to. They have a history lately of not listening to people, like maybe like other companies or brands would. But it seems like, especially with the mirrorless, they're more able to do maybe more firmware updates. And with the 90D is marketed as kind of like a DSLR, but it's also kind of a mirrorless, depending on how you use it. But yeah, I just kind of want to get this video out there quick, in case anybody else is kind of in a similar boat that I am, and kind of like, maybe you got some like, you know, some Canon glass, and like, because I've been like looking at this stuff for a couple of months. I'm like, I don't really want to, because if I go into Sony, that's like re-buy all this stuff. Now, if they had a firmware update that gets rid of the 30-minute time limit, that would be, for me, that would be gold. So I don't have to get like an external recorder phone, like, because I also, I also do like interviewing stuff too, to help out like galleries and all that stuff. But yeah, I just kind of want to get this out there. What are your thoughts? Anything like that? Do you think? I thought it was fake at first. I'm like, they're too far gone, but I don't know. We'll see. But then also I'm curious about the. I've heard the rumors of the 4K is upscaled. I don't know if that's actually confirmed. I mean, I'm shooting on 1080p right now, so I mean, an upgrade from that would be good, but I don't know. We'll see. All right. Peace.